Hello, everyone. I am Fozzie, or Cam, and I'm here with my co-host Will, as always. How you doing today, Will?
I'm doing great, Cam. 10 days until Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness. I believe 9 days before you see it. My countdown is on, and I'm doing great. And how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. So today we'll be covering a lot of our movies. No music today. I don't think we have anything to cover in the music category. Um, Obviously, we have the basketball playoffs to talk about. The Nets losing to the Celtics, and Jordan Poole being really good. So yeah, I think we have a lot to talk. We have a lot to talk about today. So yeah, welcome to the Everything Podcast. Let's get started. So I think we should get started with some basketball, like we always do. We usually start with sports. So the Nets lost, and just give me your thoughts on like how do you feel about that game? Did you watch any of it, or did you just check out the highlights?
Oh, I did. I did, and listen, I just let me just start by giving credit to your Boston Celtics, Cam, because what they did to neutralize Kevin Durant and, with the exception of Game One, Kyrie Irving in this series, I just thought was just a just a fantastic job. So first of all, shout out to the Boston Celtics for continuing to show why they are an elite defensive team and a team that can just go on a really nice playoff run this year. But let me discuss the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh boy.
Are you kidding me? I mean, come on. You've got Kevin Durant, who I absolutely believed was the best player in the NBA. And oh, by the way, you've got Kyrie Irving as well. Are those two future Hall of Famers? Yes, they are. And you get swept in Kevin Durant, of all things, in game number 4. You miss a free throw, a clutch free throw. Those KD, that is a free throw. Nobody is guarding you. You've got to hit that.
I
So,
should mention
Cam,
that he also had 35 points, so it wasn't like he played a bad
yes,
game.
yes, yes,
He
yes,
just
yes.
missed a clutch shot.
Good point. Good point. I just thought at the end of the day, towards the end of the game, he missed the free throw, and he also missed a three. But I just think if you're the Nets and you have two future Hall of Famers and you're considered a title contender going into the season and you get swept, I just think that is an absolute embarrassment and it's pathetic.
Sure is. I mean, they really need to step up their game. I mean, it's almost it's sad that they are easily one of the best teams in the league, and if they had just lasted longer, they probably could have got Ben Simmons back, which would have helped them so much. I think that would have been very helpful to them. But they have Blake Griffin, 6-time All Star, on their team, who, granted, is very old and very slow. But he is a solid player as well. You know, you have Seth Curry draining threes everywhere. And you have Katie and Kyrie. I mean, Katie's like the best player in the NBA. And Kyrie's nasty. It's astonishing that they lose to a team with Grant Williams as one of their best players. It's really astonishing. It's kind of sad actually.
Yeah, and let me just say this. I do not disagree that Kevin Durant was the best player on the Warriors 2016-17 and 2017-18 NBA championship teams, but something I tend to hear like the Steph Curry, haters and certain people say is, oh, the Warriors wouldn't have won those two titles without KD. KD made Curry in the playoffs. But let me say this: Kevin Durant, you just got swept, and how's your former team doing? Oh yeah, they're up 3 games to 1 and can win the series in 5 games tomorrow night. So I just think as much as Kevin Durant was the best player, Cam, on those Warrior title teams, I think it's good to put into consideration that he had a bunch of other great players on the team to help him out.
Of course, yeah. And that brings me to our next topic. We can talk about your Warriors, because Jordan Peele's really going off right now. I mean, he's nasty. How are you feeling? Are you happy about that?
Absolutely, I love Jordan Poole. I mean, struggled at first when Clay came back and he had to find his footing a bit, but I mean, since then, he has just been on a tear. His only really bad game has been their last game against Denver in Game 4, but he has just put on an absolute show and has solidified himself as one of the main scoring options for the Golden State Warriors down the stretch. And in terms of Jordan Poole not even being a finalist for most improved player, I love what Draymond Green has talked about, which was 12 months ago, Jordan Poole was third team all G League and on his way out of the NBA. And now he's one of their go-to options in the postseason. Like,
Yeah.
tell me that does not define most improved player, but simply put, I love Jordan Poole, Kim.
Well, most improved player went to Ja Morant, who I feel like he didn't. I feel like he should not have gotten that award, considering he already was pretty nasty. I
Yeah,
mean,
and as Draymond Green has also pointed out, Ja, like, we already knew he was great last year and in his rookie season as well, so he should be in the MVP conversation and not in the most improved player
that I'm with
conversation.
you on. I'm still holding strong. Devin Booker MVP.
Oh, let me just say, I know he didn't end up being a finalist, but if Devin Booker had won the MVP, Cam, I would have had no issue with it. When you are the best player on the team with the best record in the Western Conference, and you lead your team to an excellent record when Chris Paul is out, I think you absolutely deserve to be in the MVP conversation. So if Devin Booker had ended up winning the MVP this year, Cam, I would have had zero issue with it, and I would have been happy for him as well, because I'm a fan of him as a player, and he just really seems to play the game the right way.
Yeah, I really do think he should have won. I mean, he really is such a talented player, and he's been like a solid, good player his entire career, and I feel like that's a pretty impressive thing to accomplish, So he could have easily won MVP, and he went to the finals last year. I mean, and he's a contender this year too. I mean.
Yeah. How do you feel about Phoenix without Booker now, though, and this series being 2-2? How do you feel?
Well, I feel like it could end up being close, but at the end of the day, Booker's one of their more dominant forces on the team. But I could see them winning, but it's obviously a lot less likely now.
Yeah. I mean, they can, probably beat the Pelicans in this series, but I mean, I just kind of find it amazing just how, my team, the Warriors, going into the playoffs, and I agreed, at that point, they were not talked about on the level of Minnesota and Phoenix, but now Phoenix is 2-2 in their series, and they're dealing with this Booker injury, and the Grizzlies that series is 2-2, and now people are talking about Golden State again, so it just shows how the tides can turn.
It really does. Let's see here. Oh, yes, I also wanted to go back to the Celtics win.
For a
second.
I just want to say, Cam, the Celtics, again, just what a great job. They have solidified themselves as one of the upper echelon teams in the Eastern Conference for sure. I mean, just props is all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, they really are just crushing it out there. I mean, Jason Tatum is one of the best players in the NBA, and
Absolutely, no question.
so is Jaylen Brown. To be honest with you, and Marcus Smart, good player. I mean, he's been really up in his game this season. Because we've seen him not play very good. We've seen him not be very not be he was very selfish with the ball, and well, not like, I don't think it was intentional. I think he just jacked up too many shots where better plays could have been made. But I do feel like we have such a big improvement from Marcus Smart this year.
Yeah,
But
and obviously a big congrats and well deserved to Marcus Smart on winning Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. I will say I don't think we're gonna go too far against the Bucks, considering, well, they're the Bucks, and granted they don't have Chris Middleton. But
yeah, well, I mean, with the Middleton factor, I mean, I'm not saying it'll be easy, but with Middleton out and with what they just did to the Nets, I could see them winning that series in, let's say, 7 games.
yeah, I mean, I really could see them win, but the Bucks are just such a great team. Giannis. I mean, he won the championship last year.
And considering what just happened to Kevin Durant, I think I'm going to have to kind of agree with people who are calling Giannis the best player in the NBA right now, because I can't call KD that after the performances I just saw from him.
Yeah, it was not pretty, I'll say that. Not at all.
I mean, I don't care how good the defense is. You can't have a series like that and miss a free throw when you're considered the best player in the NBA. Like, I can't consider you the best player in the NBA if you do that, KD. I just can't. I'm sorry.
And the game could have been so much closer if he hit that shot. They could have won.
Yeah. No arguments from me. But, yeah, Celtics Bucks, that'll be an entertaining series for sure.
For sure.
So I look forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be great. So, yeah, I don't have anything else in my notes here. Am I missing anything, Will?
No, I don't think you are, Cam. I think we're good. Well, just here. Your thoughts on James Harden in this postseason?
All right. Well, have you seen the comments from Joel Embiid?
Tell me what he said.
Well, I forget exactly what he said, but I saw on Bleacher Report this morning that he said, I think it was, he needs to loosen up. He needs to get a little bit more unselfish with the ball, and he needs to step it up a bit.
Well, I mean, no arguments from me. I mean, just when you hear things about needing to be more unselfish, and also anytime I hear about a player who needs to get in better shape, I mean, come on, that's just pathetic when you're, yeah, I mean, no respect for James Harden from me. None.
Yeah, he's a good player. I mean, we've said this before. He is a good player. I just feel like he's not a good person, and he's just not the basketball player you really want on your team. And yeah, if it was like just him, then he'd be great.
Right. And I mean, like, if you're James, like, how bad a look, like, would it be, for instance, Cam, if, like, James Harden, I mean, why don't you just, come and show up every day? I mean, showing up overweight and just the way he put on Houston, I just so much dislike it. And, like, Cam, how would you feel if, for instance, I didn't want to be on this podcast anymore, and instead of talking to you about it, I just started not appearing on episodes? And that's like, I just, and just James Harden quit on 2 teams in the course of 13 months, and I just couldn't stand it.
It is ridiculous. You can't do that. I mean, you're part of a team, you know? You can't just leave.
And you're getting paid.
Millions of
The,
dollars, I should
the
add.
team is paying you. That is a disservice to the team. You don't deserve that money if you're showing up overweight and not having your heart in it. You don't deserve that money.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you. He that when he came back and he looked like that, that was an embarrassment. It was simply just an embarrassment. Like, you can't show up to the NBA looking like that.
No arguments from me. No arguments from me.
All right, so I believe that's all I have for sports, and we're gonna switch it up to movies and TV, I guess. So Moon Knight episode 4. What an episode that was, Will.
Yeah, for sure.
Spoiler alert, by the way.
Yeah. From what you told me before the show, Cam, I would love you to go first because it sounds like you have some big takes on this episode.
Oh yeah, I honestly do. I mean, I was so confused when we saw that hippo lady come in. Since then, I've watched a few breakdowns, um, and they've all explained that apparently I saw one that she was the god of like the afterlife. I honestly don't know, but it's insane, and I believe you remember that third coffin thing there, right?
Yeah.
There was Mark and Steven who broke. Mark let Steven out, and they let Steven out of the coffin.
Right.
And then they walked past this other room when someone was banging on the coffin. That was the third personality.
Okay.
I believe it's Jake Lockley.
All right. Interesting.
I
okay.
believe, which I am super excited to see, and I think they actually did die, and that this is just what there's. It's like the in between state between like not dead yet, but about to die. I don't know, honestly.
Yeah, like the in between state between life and death, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am. It's crazy. It's like this is more freaky than WandaVision. This doesn't make sense at all, and
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and I did, obviously, discuss on our last podcast how I had issues with the confusing elements of the show, and I just haven't been as compelled since the first episode. The first episode has definitely been my favorite so far, but I will say, at the end of the third, episode, I just saying, when they're in that space between life and death, that was the jolt that I needed to make.
I'm with you.
To make me want to keep watching the show, and even if it's not my favorite, still have a bit of intrigue in it. So, credit to Moon Knight for doing something to make me want to keep watching it, even if it isn't my favorite Marvel show.
That's for sure. I mean, it's definitely not my favorite Marvel show so far. Not at all, actually. But it's definitely up there with. I'd say it's about equal to Hawkeye, but I don't think you would do that. You loved Hawkeye better than Falcon Winter Soldier, and if it keeps going like this, I will be loving this show. I mean,
yeah, that's awesome.
That was so interesting.
And I'll be also, I mean, like, do you think this is all we'll see of Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, or do you think we'll see more, or do you think this is gonna be it, this show?
No, I feel like every single Marvel character will appear more than once, whether it's in season 2 of the show, or whether it's in another movie with someone else. Like,
have there been rumors of the season 2 of Moon Knight?
I haven't been looking into it really, but I wouldn't be surprised because it seems like a show that would be pretty cool to continue, and I feel like it doesn't exactly warrant a movie just yet.
Yeah. And
Uh, yeah,
mhm. Yeah. And also I've said this about the show before, and I'll say it again. Ethan Hawke in this show
fantastic
is fantastic.
for
And
sure.
yeah, fantastic.
All right, so you've been watching What If, right, Will?
Yes, I have. 3 episodes in, I am enjoying it, and I love the intro that the Watcher does at the start of each episode. I mean, episode three. I mean, boy, I mean, you had to watch Tony Stark, Thor, Clint Barton, and Bruce Banner die in an episode. I mean, that was intense, but I think it's a real, but I think it's a creative way to reimagine events, and it's obviously in its canon as you've told me, Cam. So I am enjoying this show and the visuals and all that are very good as well.
Yeah, I mean, I am just so impressed with that show. It's a great show, you know? And I'm not much of an animated movie or show guy.
Me neither.
Not that it's like for kids, which it's not, because there are a lot of animated shows that are simply for just all ages, which is the cool thing. And I'm just so impressed with what this show did. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I definitely do get the vibe like this show like it's not like a show geared toward like adults. Like the lines and stuff are definitely more geared toward all audiences in my opinion. It's a lighter tone than the live action
Of course.
MCU stuff.
Yeah. Obviously, I mean, the animation style is just great. I think. What episode are you on? 3 or
Yeah,
4?
I've watched 3 episodes
All
so
right.
far, and yeah, four will be my next one. So I'm three in.
Yeah, 4 is great. And also, I wanted to talk to you about Iron Fist. So, I have never
Yeah,
watched any of the well, at least all of the Marvel shows. I'm almost done with season 1 of Daredevil.
awesome.
Um, and I'm loving it. And you
It
finished Daredevil, loved it, and now you're moving on to Iron Fist, which I know a lot of people didn't expect. In fact, I've talked to a lot of my friends about it, and they really just have no interest in watching that show. How are you liking it so far?
Yeah, well, yeah. Let me also say that I did also watch the Defenders in
Oh, yes,
between
yes, yes.
seasons 2 and 3 of Daredevil because Matt's in it, and I want to give that a shout out as well because I really enjoyed that also, and Iron Fist is obviously in on that show as well, along with Jessica Jones and Luke Cage who make up the Defenders. But anyway, yeah, Iron Fist. I've watched, or me and my dad have watched 3 episodes so far, and look, would I put it on the level of Daredevil or the Defenders? I mean, no, I would not, and I can understand why people wouldn't be as crazy about this show. I could use some more action in it, for instance, and the character, and something that my dad's pointed out. That's a good point. He says, like, he talks about how the character Iron Fist, Danny Rand, he's a character who, he practices meditation, and yet he always seems to have all these freakouts. So if he's somebody who practices meditation, why does he freak out at
That's a very good
things
point.
as much as he does? But I think, the story is nice. I just think people may have wanted, more action, and maybe the show will get weaker as it goes on. But I like the show so far. It's definitely not Daredevil. It's not the Defenders, but I think it's a good show. But I can see things people would want to change about it.
Oh yeah, I am looking at the reviews right now. Oh my.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me some of the complaints that you see, and I'll see if I can understand them.
Let me just read like what the actual number of view is. So
Okay.
season 1 gets a 20,
Oh,
um, which is
20. Geez. I
just
mean,
just
that's
awful.
yeah, which I thoroughly disagree with. I would not go anywhere near a 20. I mean,
And
that's just crazy. That's huge.
that was released in 2017, 13 episodes.
Yep.
Season 2, 2018, just a year later. Wow. Uh, 55, so improved, but still not a great score. I mean, not awful, but not fantastic. So let me just pull up some of the actual reviews here.
Yeah. I would be interested to hear what folks say.
Alright, here we go. Let's look at a bad review. You won't be missing much if you give this session a skip. Alright. Here's another one. This one seems to be pretty good. The cast of the series is very diverse, but the storyline itself is only intermittently progressive. How do you feel about that, Will?
Yeah, I mean, the storylines, fine to me so far. I mean, I think they have a nice, thing going with Danny Rand's backstory. I mean, I would just say maybe the difference between like this and like Daredevil is like with Daredevil, like with Matt Murdock's backstory, you're just probably, way more engrossed and intrigued and wanting to know more than, for instance, this show.
Here's another bad one. This
All
Iron
right.
Fist ain't immortal. He's got a real short shelf life. Okay. 2.5 out of 5, which actually isn't that bad of a review. Here's another one. Someone who gives it a 9 out of 10. And it seems that he preferred the second season over the first. And he says, everything you hated about Iron Fist 1 is gone. And the remaining elements are tightly reconstructed into a superhero thriller that ups the ante for every Marvel television franchise.
Yeah, well, all I can say is that if people, and I've seen this other places too, if people consider season 2 better than season 1, I don't see why I won't continue to like this show, especially
If you
since I'm
like it,
enjoying
then
season
I
1
would
so far.
recommend continue it. But then we have another review from a top critic. So
Oh
this is a
boy.
pro critic. Christian Hula. I don't want to even try to pronounce that. Apologies. But he gives it a C plus and says, this is about the second season. Has Iron Fist improved at all? The short answer, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I'll give an official.
Here's another big one. The problem is Danny Rand is just not compelling enough to carry his own show.
Yeah, well, as I said, like, Danny Rand is definitely, not on the level of compelling as like a Matt Murdock, but I don't think he's, so non-compelling that you can't sit down and watch 2 seasons, in my opinion. So, anyway, yeah.
That's good to know. Alright, let's see here. What else do we have? Thor Love and Thunder trailer. How did
Oh,
you
yeah.
feel about that?
Loved it, and loved it some more.
How can you not?
I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, the Jane Foster reveal. I mean, what's there to say about the scene between Thor and Peter Quill? That was fantastic. Tell me that it'll be interesting. Ken, because this is like a Thor movie and stuff. I'll be curious to see. I mean, like, sure, they'll help Thor fight, for instance, but I'll be curious to see like how the Guardians of the Galaxy are used in a Thor movie. I'll be interested to see just like how they integrate them into the storyline.
I think they're gonna start the movie. He's gonna be fighting with them. He's gonna be part of him, and then he's gonna leave to find himself.
Okay, that would make sense. Yeah. So, do you think Thor will like go like you think he'll still be with the Guardians by the end of this movie or no?
I don't know. It's really tough to say. I'm gonna go with yes, but I could totally be wrong.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like all I mean with this question is like in a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, you can go like deep on the characters and in stuff, but there's also like so many of them, and if you get what I'm saying, like now you're just gonna have to put all of this into a Thor movie. So I'll just again, like if that makes sense, just curious to see how it's done.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
Because
very
it's not
curious.
like with this like with Jane Foster coming back, it's not like any of the Guardians have a relationship with like her. I'm just kind of curious, just how they're gonna fit into the whole storyline of the movie, besides just being there now that Thor's joined them.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. So I actually just want to go over the reviews for some of the other Marvel shows,
All
or
right.
the other Netflix shows at least. So we have Jessica Jones season one, and overall it has 83 from audience from critics,
Yeah. It seems like this is the second best show after Daredevil, from what I'm hearing.
and then we have
Luke Cage.
I, let me check the Luke Cage reviews. I mean, I'm interested in watching Luke Cage actually, because he actually seems like a cool character. Let's see what Luke
Yeah.
Cage has here. Yeah,
And
Luke
we need
Cage
more.
seems to
Yeah.
be in second place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we need more African American superheroes like Luke Cage. So yeah, awesome that show happened.
Yeah, that appears to be the second best.
All right
Then
then.
Defenders and Punisher, which the IMDb score on Punisher it is completely different. In fact, it has the same exact rating as Daredevil does on
I saw
IMDb.
that, and yet on Rotten Tomatoes it's like 60
Yeah,
something
significantly lower.
percent. Like folks, like just to be clear, I did watch The Punisher, but me and my dad just found it way too violent and just way too predictable. Like it was just not compelling. Whereas like with Iron Fist episode one, like I'm compelled by the story, and with The Punisher, I just nothing caught me from the start like
How many
the
episodes of
other
Punisher
shows
did you
have.
watch?
About one and a half.
One and a half. Oh.
About halfway through the second episode is when my dad thought that it wasn't a good show, and he wasn't enjoying it either.
Yeah.
Didn't like
Yeah.
it.
I mean.
Yeah,
Alright.
well, yeah, and the reason that we went to like Iron Fist is because my dad actually thought that Luke Cage and Jessica Jones weren't you know good for us to watch with me at 14 right now. So because Iron Fist is so low rated, that's not what I would have had us go to, but just with the things we were hearing about the other shows, it just kind of left Iron Fist there as just kind of the remaining one to watch right now.
Yeah. Let's see here. What else do we have to talk about right now?
Doctor Strange TV
Doctor
spot.
Strange TV spot. Illuminati confirmed, everyone. Our wishes have been granted. At last. I honestly think it's just so awesome. I mean, it's like, oh wow, it's so nice to
Yeah,
finally see the Illuminati
yeah,
and to
Kim.
finally have it confirmed.
Yeah, do you wish that they had not confirmed? Like, did you wish that they would have waited, or do you wish that they would have not gave this reveal, or are you glad that they
I
did?
am all good with this.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, well. Again, like I'll say this, and I think we just discussed this off air once, but just tell me again if you agree with me. Something I appreciate about like this like these Doctor Strange trailers and stuff, like I just like with No Way Home, I could kind of I feel like predict when certain events were gonna happen, and I like knew when like Otto Octavius was coming in and the Green Goblin was coming in, and I like got a sense for like what the movie would be about. With Doctor Strange, I mean, in the multiverse of madness, I mean, like I get like the main point, but like I just feel like there's just still so much that I don't know about it, and that's why I'm so excited to see it. Like I feel like I get like the main premise, but I just feel like there's still so many things that I don't know are going to happen, and there are all these people who have been rumored to be in it that we have no idea if they're in it or not.
Yeah, I mean, I am just so excited for this movie. I think I said it on the podcast before, but Doctor Strange is my favorite superhero, and I am just so
Would you
psyched.
say that Wanda? Would you say that Wanda Maximoff is your second favorite superhero? Because I know she's also one of your favorites.
Uh, hmm, maybe because
Top five?
top five I'd put her in. Yeah, because her show is great. Um, yeah, Wanda is definitely on my top list. But yeah, I think we're gonna get Patrick Stewart as Professor X. We might see Mr. Fantastic of the Fantastic Four. I am just so excited. The Living Tribunal has been rumored as well. I think I said that right, but yeah,
Yeah,
I've heard about him being in it, and which will be fantastic.
yeah. You know, uh, um, what was I gonna say? Just again, like, folks, if you like, this is my thought. If you thought No Way Home was multiverse crazy, this is gonna be 10 times crazier than that. Like, this is gonna be like a journey through the multiverse. And let me say this because, like, I know, like, there could be things of like, oh, movies with, this much hype and stuff don't always live up to it. And how much longer can Marvel live up to, these great trailers and all these expectations? Let me tell you some, something. This movie 100% deserves all the hype it gets, and it's going to come through. I just know it. I just feel it. There are certain movies which are just so deserving of every piece of hype thrown at them, and this movie, I mean, totally deserves all the hype. And if you haven't watched all the trailers and stuff and don't think that this is going to be a great and epic film, well, then clearly we're just not on the same page.
That's for sure. And I think it's going to be the most epic film, in fact, in the entire MCU.
You, you think it'll go to your number one spot, right?
For sure. I mean, I think it'll just be, like, outstanding. And I'll be seeing it in IMAX, and the day after I see it, I will be publishing a review.
I can't
I'll try
wait.
not to spoil it, but,
Yeah,
I mean,
only movie show, baby. But yeah, no, that'll be great, Cam. I so look forward to that. But yeah, no, I think this movie is gonna be at 3 or 4 on my list right now. I have Endgame 1,
yeah.
Infinity War 2, No Way Home 3. The only ones that are kind of, or at least right now, unmovable to me are Endgame and Infinity War, because I just consider them so epic times
What
10.
about No Way Home?
I have that at 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I have that at 3. But Multiverse of Madness, I could, see slipping into my number 3 spot. Whereas, like, I don't think I'll have anything beat Endgame and Infinity War and move into my 2 or 1 spot. But if there's a movie that could do it, it would be a movie like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of
Yeah.
Madness.
It's gonna be horror, so that'll be fantastic. I am just so excited for this movie, Will.
Yeah, and that also just like the trailers basically reveal that we're not going to get like an like a good superhero good guy Wanda for the entire movie. So just what goes on with her character, I just can't wait to see in the TV spot with her kids, which is fantastic.
Truly was. And the biggest part for me is the Illuminati. I mean, I've read about them in the comics and stuff, and oh my gosh, fascinating. And I am just so excited to see where this movie goes.
Do you think we'll see Tobey Maguire in this movie?
Uh, I think we're gonna see a lot of people, and it's hard to confirm who. and apparently it's going to be just filled with cameos. So I
Yeah, I mean,
won't say I'll
yeah,
be surprised if he's in it.
yeah. I mean, let me just say this: like, if Marvel can hide Matt Murdock, well, I know there were,
Yeah, there were plenty of rumors about Matt
yeah,
Murdock.
but like, still, like if on the day of the movie, like, we don't fully know if Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in the movie, and we don't know that Matt Murdock is going to be in the movie. I mean, I just feel like, don't put anything past Marvel in terms of who they could have in this thing.
Oh, of course. I mean, I honestly, I mean, we could have 2003 Hulk for all we know. I mean, there are just so many possibilities for the characters we could
Yeah,
have.
I just want to say this to Marvel. I mean, credit, like, I don't know if I've ever seen a movie franchise quite like them in terms of they can just keep putting out trailer after trailer after trailer that just get me just so excited. And for them to have just put out Spider-Man No Way Home, which we both consider one of their best movies ever, for them a few months later to be coming out with another movie, which we think is going to be one of their best movies ever. And then in July, Thor Love and Thunder, which I think could be one of their best movies ever. I mean, for them to just continue to do this, and especially in the, post Endgame era and stuff, I mean, I am just so impressed with this franchise right now. I just can't say enough about them. Their ideas and their storylines and their creativity are just at an all-time high, and I
I
don't
mean,
see anything stop them.
they are a multi-billion-dollar company. I'm sure they
Yeah,
have
but I just gotta give them all the credit in the world
for sure.
for what they're doing right now with coming out with a movie that had all the hype in the world and lived up to it in No Way Home, and then just
They're
not
basically
even
producing
not even
content
yeah, I mean,
every 3 months.
not even a year later coming out with another movie which we think is going to be one of their best movies ever. I mean, that's just so impressive.
I mean, I think this might be one of the best kind of, well, if not No Way Home wasn't this year, but I want to kind of bunch it in for this year because it's the most recent actual, well, other
Right.
than Morbius, actual Marvel movie.
Right.
Um, so I'll bunch it in with this group. So, this year, I guess we've had like the best Marvel movies we've had released in a row. I mean, we have No Way Home, which I'm counting in 2022 because whatever.
Right.
Um,
Sure.
we have No Way Home. We have Multiverse of Madness, which is going to be amazing. Then Thor: Love and Thunder, which I am so excited for because
Me
Taika
too.
Waititi is
Amen.
returning, and it's just going to be fantastic.
He's amazing.
He is. And yeah, I am so excited for all the future Marvel content. And unless you have anything else to add, I think that does it for our podcast.
Yeah, I think that does it too, Ken. But yeah, I mean, just Multiverse of Madness. I mean, there's just a certain excitement that movies can produce sometimes, and this movie is producing it for sure. So I just can't wait. I could say that about 10 billion times. I cannot wait.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of the Everything Podcast. Next week, we might do a live episode, which will be super fun. And I should remind you that we have just released What Grinds My Gears episode 4 with Todd. So check that out. And Thursday, this week Thursday, I believe I will be on the Only Movie Show. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of the Everything Podcast. Have a great day. Also, there might be a few episodes of the Only Movie Show before that because I am done editing and we'll just have to post them. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening, and see you next time.